Hey Insomniacs, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a good day today. I have a belly full of ham and potato Irish soup that my wife made. It was so good. And now here we are. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys for a little while. Wasn't the greatest day today, so this is really what I was looking forward to doing all day, is knowing that I was going to get to come here and sit and chat with you for a little while and show you something really cool that I got off of eBay last week. It's something that I have been looking for a real long time. Um, uh, that kind of encapsulates the start of one of my big loves. It wasn't the exact start, but it helped play a big part in that. So a lot of you are familiar with HBO home box office, and it's been around for a very long time. In fact, I remember in the 70s, probably 78, 79, somewhere in there is when we first got HBO. And, you had movies. You could watch movies. And of course, they had a lot of movies that they played a lot of times. And those movies kind of became your and my foundation for a lot of the movies that we love, even to this day. They played a big part in that. So I was looking for a particular issue. I don't really collect them. This is the only one I have, and it's a shame. I would love to have one of the later issues when Star Wars premiered. That would be a really good one to have. I believe the cover was the original poster with Luke holding the lightsaber up, or maybe it was Darth Vader's with the stars behind it. I don't quite remember what it was, but I know that it was really cool. I remember being a kid and going to my grandparents' house, and my uncle, who's just a couple years older than me, more like a brother than an uncle. I grew up with him and my cousin. We were, inseparable, the three of us, and had a lot of good times together. Anyway, he had a stack like that of the old HBO guides, and they would get the new issues and he would just throw them on the pile. And I mean, I remember looking at them, and there was like when 10 premiered, when Jaws premiered, all Jaws 2. I remember flipping through them so many times when I would go to my grandparents' house. And, years later, who knows where they have ended up since then. So the hunt went on for a very specific issue that I was looking for. And I came to find out that it was after doing some research, it was the July 1979 HBO guide. Very interesting, because July happens to be my birthday month. So that was like a double extra excitement. So I went on eBay after searching around for it for quite a while, and there was nothing. And then finally one showed up, and I was able to get it. And here it is, the HBO guide from 1979, July 1979. And John Jakes, The Seeker, is on the cover. I do not remember that. I know I remember this issue, and I very much remember the back. Richard Dreyfuss in The Big Fix. I don't ever remember seeing that movie, but you gotta love the original HBO splash right there. It's perfect. So I got this. Let's look at some of the stuff in it, and we'll get to what I was really looking for. You'd have the highlights for July in here, which is awesome. And they had Wimbledon was huge. I remember it would take over HBO for days, and I'd be so upset because I couldn't watch the movies that I wanted to watch because Wimbledon was going on. And it was only 4 days here apparently, but it felt like, weeks. And let's look at my birthday to see what was on that day, because my birthday is July 2nd. And let's look at the guy. Can you see that? What's really interesting is that the first show that was on was 6:30 in the afternoon. That is crazy. I remember that. HBO did not debut all day. It wasn't 24 hours when it originally aired. It looks like it started around 6:30, went till about 2:30 in the morning. And then, you'd probably get snow or the cable bars for that time, but nothing super interesting on my birthday. Corvette Summer, the only thing there that would really be fun to watch again with Mark Hamill. Yeah, I don't actually ever remember seeing it. I probably saw it when I was a kid, but I don't remember seeing it anytime recently. Let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, this started to build a lot of the movies that I loved. Came from the HBO genre. I mean, right there you have Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. I can't tell you how many times I saw that as a kid. The special effects in that were way awesome, and it's still one of my favorite adventure movies, and I still love adventure movies to this day. Here's two that I remember quite well. Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, that was probably the pilot for the TV series, or the TV series came out of that. And then The Rich Little and The Great Performers. I loved watching the Rich Little specials. And Red Skelton, too. He used to have the Christmas one that they aired on HBO a lot. That was always a fun one to watch, too. Gosh, there's so much looking back at this that's exciting. Now here's a page right out of my love of horror today, and I can guarantee I probably didn't get to watch either of these at the time. It's 1979. I was only, I just turned 5, so I don't think my mom, I know my mom would not let me watch The Exorcist at 5. I saw it years later. Local station WXXA did a very heavily edited version of it, and that was when I finally saw it. So I know I didn't see The Exorcist back then. And down at the bottom, Piranha, I might have seen that, but I doubt it. Not at that age. Oh, yeah, wow, that just clicked with me. Daredevils, I seem to remember watching that. All stunts and stuff, vaguely. It's just looking at it right now. I haven't really looked at this. This is the first time I'm looking at it is with you guys. And, it's fun to go back to. We're going to come back to one thing though, that really is the reason that I got this issue. Apple Dumpling Gang, another classic that was absolutely, where is it? Oh, there it is. It's on this side. The Apple Dumpling Gang, classic. I have the DVD set of both movies. I'd love to talk about some of the Walt Disney stuff when we get going here. So that brings us to the reason that we got this, that I got this little guide. It was July 28th, and my favorite band in the world, yeah, they premiered on HBO and set the world on fire once again. Now, it's really interesting looking back at this, because this picture is from the Love Gun sessions when they were doing the photos for that. And the concert was actually taped in Japan in late 77, maybe early 78. No, that's got to be 77, early 77, because it was the end of the Rock and Roll Over tour, so the costumes were more closer to the Destroyer era. And then it didn't air actually until 1979, when we were knee deep in Dynasty and Peter Criss was leaving the band and all that kind of stuff. But gosh, I remember it so vividly, the concert, and it was so awesome. Here, let me show you the picture. Let's look at that picture again, because it's the iconic Kiss look. There, look at that. And there's the little write-up that was, you can't really see it. But it premiered on July 28th, right here. And it was a great day on HBO. You had Buck Rogers in the 25th and a half century, Kiss, and The Exorcist. I mean, now I would sit and I wouldn't move for the entire afternoon that was on. But it was such a great show. And for years after I saw it, I hoped that HBO would show it again, because back then you didn't have VCRs. And when it was on, it was on. And when it was gone, it was gone. But all was not lost for me. Years later, I was older, and I went to a Kiss convention in Hackensack, New Jersey, and I picked up my first Kiss bootleg on VHS, and it was another beginning of a massive bootleg collection of Kiss videos. Now you can find everything on YouTube, which is amazing, including, this show. But I went and I picked up this concert from Japan called the Young Music Show. I didn't know what it was. So I get home and I'm watching it, and we didn't have the internet, was not the internet that it is now. And I'm watching it going, God, wow, this is really cool. A Pro Shot Japan TV show. And so I did a little more research into it, and I come to find out that this was the show that they used for the HBO special with just some different camera cuts. So I was like, oh my God, I have the show. And then, years later, History came out, Volume 1, and they had the complete Japanese show. It was cleaned up. It was pretty much the Young Music Show without that bumper in it. And then YouTube, I actually found the HBO version of it with the HBO logo. That's, it's a 2-second HBO logo, but that was my concert. That was the Kiss concert, and it was such a great memory. Little Eddie, that was the same year that I got to see Kiss for the first time. My parents took me to Springfield, Massachusetts. They took my uncle and me, and we saw Kiss and Judas Priest. Judas Priest was opening. I don't remember Judas Priest at all, but I remember very much a lot of the Kiss stuff still. So that was my eBay find. I was so happy to find this. I don't know if I'm going to get any more. Like I said, maybe the Star Wars one, when Star Wars premiered, that would be cool. And maybe when Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. See, now I'm thinking about collecting. But no, we're not going to do that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Such a cool find. eBay is great for that kind of stuff, and I'm looking at some other stuff on eBay too. Maybe down the road we'll get some other things. But I have so much stuff around here that I can show you as well, which is just as exciting. What else did I want to tell you guys about? I watched wrestling last night. I watched a house show from 1977, and it was really cool because it finally was starting to show some of the wrestlers that I knew more. Some familiar faces were in there. There was a great title match. It was from Madison Square Garden, the house that Bruno Sammartino built, and he defended the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Championship against Stan Hansen. Great match. Who else was on the card? Bobo Brazil was on the card. Oh gosh, Gorilla Monsoon was the special ref for, I think, the Stan Hansen Bruno match, which was really cool. I think he was, or maybe he was the ref for something else. Andre the Giant was in a 6-man tag match with Wahoo McDaniel and Billy White Wolf. Billy White Wolf ended up being General Adnan later on, Sergeant Slaughter's advisor there when he was an Iraqi supporter back in the Gulf War. So that was really cool to see him. It was just a really great show. And I forgot that a lot of times in the house shows, they would put the main event like halfway through the card, and you still have another hour of wrestling afterwards. And I remember an interview with Hulk Hogan where he said he liked going on midway through because he could get back to the hotel sooner. So that's funny. So yeah, that's all I got for today. It's Tuesday. If you're watching this live, when it first airs, it's Tuesday. If you're watching this sometime in the future, I don't know what day it is, but I hope it's been a good day for you. Trying to think what we got going on the rest of this week. Gosh, I can't think of too much. I don't know what tomorrow's video is going to be yet. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments below. Oh, Facebook. I had some comments on Facebook, and I wanted to say thank you for them. And I wanted to say, Dee, thank you for the 1970s cartoons that you shared with me on there, ones that were your favorites. We are going to talk about them, and in fact, we might start talking about them this weekend. I'm kind of toying around with how I want to talk about Saturday morning cartoons, and I think I have a pretty good idea. I do watch cartoons still on Saturday mornings. They're not the original ones at the moment, but they all have ties to stuff going back to the 70s and 80s, and they're still really cool. And I'll tell you what I'm watching, and And we're going to talk about old cartoons. I know that I want to do that because Saturday morning was such an important part of my childhood. One of my favorite days, one of my favorite mornings. Um, what else we got? We got Friday night. We're gonna have creature features, two big features. Hopefully some Jack's Pizza, and we're gonna celebrate some monsters. We'll talk about the movies that we're watching, and maybe I'll talk after I watch the movies too, in between. Uh, and we'll do not. I don't want to say reviews, but I'll give my thoughts on them for whatever they're worth. But once again, thank you for joining me today and watching. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that we're doing this again. So, what do you remember from the HBO guides? Do you have any? Please let me know in the comments what you remember watching and waiting for on HBO back in the day. And I'll see you here tomorrow. You guys have a good rest of your afternoon, morning, or evening. Watch those skies because you never know what's waiting for you. See you guys.